MGM Signature with Marianne Tanada, who's an awesome fashion designer, model. She was Miss Las Vegas. We're here in Las Vegas. A lot of people are asking me to interview people that were local celebrities here in Las Vegas that are doing awesome things. She's a clothing designer, entrepreneur, a business owner, and has a really interesting history. One of the things I liked about your history was that you're a hustler. You're working, before you got into the entrepreneurship field, you were a single mom working 3 jobs, supporting yourself.
Yes.
Then became into the VIP hosting business for Hakkasan, for the casino industry.
Yes.
And now you built this really interesting brand for dresses and fashion, and doing it for all sorts of entertainment celebrities, including people that are in the pageant world, like Miss USA or Miss United States, Mrs. Cuba, Miss Nevada. And I'd love for you to talk about your story, your journey, and share some of the insights to our audience.
Well, actually, it all started when, when I was a little girl. I just have this love for clothing and fashion. Seeing my grandma, like her closet is just really loaded up, like Chanel, Prada. I was like, oh my goodness, when I grow up, I want to dress like my grandma. Like I want to dress nice like her. And from there, it's always been like a love of my life. And growing up, I was like, someday I'll be a designer. And then we had reunion, and my cousins, my brother, my sister were like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this and that, pilot, whatever. And then I go there and I'm like, I want to be a gown designer, and they all laugh because, first of all, I spelled designer and fashion designer wrong. This is when I was like 6 years old.
Well, so it's designer himself, the rapper.
Designer, yeah. So they're like, my mom is like, you need a lot of money to be a designer, and it's not easy. And she was already telling me, like, why don't you be a doctor or a lawyer since you're good at debate? And I was like, Mom, it's boring. I love creative stuff. I love seeing fabric, and for me, it's a work of art. And I have, come to a realization, me working for a casino industry, waking up, you're stuck in a clockwork. You feel like a robot. You go to sleep, you work, and then you wake up. Same thing again, over and over. And I'm like, do I really just want to waste my whole life just doing this? Do I really just want to stay safe? And my coworkers are like, oh, I hate this job and blah blah blah. And I was like, if you hate this job, like, why are you here? And I ask myself that too. Do I really just want to stay there? So February of this year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to design one gown. And then I showed it to Miss Nevada 2014, Miss Lisa Sutton. She was like, hey, can you make me a gown? I was like, I made one gown, but I don't know if, I can make you that pretty gown. She was like, no, I trust you. Like, surprise me. I was like, are you sure? She was like, no, I believe in you. Just make me a gown. So I made her this gown. It's made from a Versace stretch fabric, and then I added like Swarovski crystal all over it. And it's a lot of work, but it's really fun for me. It felt like I am just, enjoying my time making it. But it's a lot of work again. From there, Miss United States saw my work, and she was like, I want you to make me my final walk gown. And I was like, are you serious right now? She was like, yeah, I want you to design me a gown. At first I thought she's not, she's probably gonna flake or whatever. But she was like, nope, design me a gown. So she wore my gown, and then from there I had Miss Asian Nevada Japan wore my gown. I made her a kimono couture gown made with pearls, and everything is handmade. Everything have a different story, like a story to it, and everything is a work of art. I treat it as a masterpiece. And whenever I see my work, it fuels me up to push what I really want to do. It's not just a brand, Looking back, I know the feeling of working 3 jobs, and I know the feeling of, you feel like you're trapped and not doing it. And I've seen some of my friends that are like, I really wanted to be a this, that, but they're still staying safe in that comfort zone. And I wanted to be an example of going for what you really want in life is the major happiness. It gives you that different kind of high that you're like, oh my gosh, this is what life is all about. Doing what you love and seeing your creation, and that's pretty much it.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that your life in the casino world is like a boring and kind of routine, because when you're describing your life in the casino world to me, you're talking about booking private jets for high rollers, organizing crazy parties, organizing events.
Yes.
And now it looks like you're doing networking, but the kind of event networking that you're doing is kind of like every day of the week you're getting invited to different parties and VIP events, because you're also involved with philanthropy and charity, but also networking to kind of build your Rolodex in terms of all the people that you're working with and networking with in the fashion world.
Yes, building my brand especially. I just don't want to push my own product or line. I wanted it to be as a role model example. It's not just you just getting every perks there is. You also need to give back. You also need to give back to the community. And for me, I help out my charity, which is Living Grace, which is a nonprofit organization for single young moms. And, it's really hard. I've been there. I was a single mom, and it's really hard to, do it all by yourself. What we do with this charity, we help these young single moms who have nowhere to go. We put them to school. We make sure we find them a job. We find them a proper place to live in, a safe haven for them and their kid, making sure they're okay. They're not going back out in the streets or, being with the toxic person that they left. And it's pretty much, that's what I do sometimes.
So when you're networking in the fashion world, how would you describe your day-to-day meetings and your life, your network? You talked about how you have an infrastructure earlier on. You have a manager, you have a publicist, you have something of your camera work that you found through references. But what are you doing? What's your goal and objective when you're actually out there?
When I'm out there, I just try all my best and just be who I am and be me. And I try to, it doesn't really have to be rocket science. For example, this interview, I did an interview yesterday too, and this is another interview. I just go out there and do the best that I can and try to time manage and you just schedule yourself, and you get into this routine where it's your normal. It's not even, I've seen people are like, oh my gosh, I'm cramming, oh my gosh, like this, and then when you cram like that, it's like it just goes really bad. So I learned how to relax and be the calmest during total chaos. So that's actually how I do it every day. Really.
Well, your mindset, this mindset that you have in terms of hustling and working.
Every day you have to hustle. Every day you gotta think that it's the end of the world, that you have to live like you're dying the next day. You have to be the best that you can be and treat everyone like, they're golden. Be the nicest person. And again, and this is what, right now, you can be successful, but not many people really do care. If you care, more people will love you, more people will connect with you, more people would want to be with you, more people would respect you, and just saying oh, I'm this already. It's more of that than, just all hard, I would say. Language barrier, I am not from America. This is why
So you grew up in the Philippines.
I grew up in the Philippines, in Manila.
And then you moved to San Diego, then you came down to Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yes.
And that was kind of quite a culture shock to go from the Philippines, where it was a mainstream hardcore city where there's a lot of hustle and bustle, to go to this more quiet town, beach town.
I know. And so when I moved here in the United States, I was like, oh my goodness, it's such different culture where people think outside of the box. It's people are very, how would you say that, liberated and very, in the Philippines, it's very strict. It almost feels like you're walking on eggshells. You would know. My Asian parents, like, you have to be like super proper, you know. You have to tell them 2 weeks in advance if you're going out or if you're doing something. It's crazy. Moving here actually really taught me how to live, you know, starting from the ground. And I really worked at a restaurant, I worked as a cocktail waitress, to working to sales, and then working to casino marketing, and to starting my own business. The beauty of it is going through that struggle, and then you become fearless, and then you would be like no fear of like losing anything, everything. You know, I'll just do it.
How has the different jobs that you've had in the past kind of help you to become an entrepreneur?
Not being picky. Because if you just set your mind to one thing, you're not gonna grow. That actually helped me to, you know, be diverse as I can be. You know, you get to meet all these people, all in different walks of life, rich, poor, average. You know, like, you learn how to deal with them, not just, you know. One time I got stereotyped by like, oh, you're probably gonna be like so sassy, you're not even gonna clean up. I'm like, no, I have a daughter. I'll do whatever it takes to, like, you know, just make a living, to work, you know, and not just because I'm a pretty face, I can't do anything. I'm like, no. I've seen it, and I've had that struggle, and it doesn't bother me. I actually see it as the beauty of life. If you don't have that struggle in life, and I mean, you're boring.
How do you balance your time between like this hardcore business hustle and bustle and like the creative side of like design and fashion and all that stuff?
The design and fashion, it's there. It's something like, if I look at this fabric, I'm like, I already know what to make with it. So it's something easy that comes to me. And how I manage it with my time, I still work on it. You know, I try to, again, I have a manager now, so she actually makes sure my schedule is on point, that we follow the schedule for that day, that I don't overbook myself, or she doesn't overbook me whenever I have meetings, and if I have a client fitting. You know, time management is very important. I would say stick to your calendar. It's been my best friend for a couple of months now. Your Google Calendar works like no other. You know, you just schedule everything to time, and then you get alerts, memos, and reminders on your phone. I always set like a note and an alarm or a memo for time. You know, I've never thought that I would use Siri, but now I'm like, Siri, remind me of this, blah, blah, blah. Or Siri, set an appointment for Wednesday that I'm meeting with so-and-so. That works amazing. I cannot stress it enough.
I just got the new iPhone 7. It's my first iPhone ever, so I'll have to try that stuff now.
Oh my goodness,
you know?
It helps so much.
Now, your passions, like outside of just the work and hustle and bustle, what are they?
Creating more and showing people my designs. That's like the best feeling ever. Like getting your work out there, and it's not about earning and the currency. It's about sharing what your talents are. That's like the best thing ever. Like, it gives you that, again, that happiness that I don't know if like you've had, I'm sure with your business and your channels, it feels like it's a playground for you. It doesn't even feel like work. And that's what it feels like for me whenever I can show my talent and my creation, my work of art, that's the best. Yeah.
Now, you're also like me in terms of golf. Golf's like one of your biggest passions also, outside of it? Mm-hmm. How do you do with that?
I'm average. I'm okay. I mean, I can hit, and you know what? It's actually a great stress reliever when you're super stressed. You know, you go out in the field and it's like so quiet, calm, and nice weather, and then you hit the ball like high up and straight. It just gives you that, oh man, it's It's fun for me.
That's why I got into it originally as well, for that. But I've used it a lot for networking, for like business networking, what have you.
It's actually really brilliant. I actually suggested that to one of my friends, and I said, hey, if you are looking for affluent people, they all play golf. And I said, you need to buy your own golf set and just practice, dude.
Well, even the young, hip, like popular CEOs of our generation, like Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all the guys who you think are just out there like doing video games and traveling and doing business, they're playing golf also. They have beers with their friends and hot dogs and play golf and chill.
Definitely.
It's like fun. It's beautiful ambiances. It's not just like an old school thing. I thought it was an old person thing before I got into it, and I was surprised.
I know, me too. And I was like, you know what? The person that got me into it is my brother. So I went to San Diego for a family trip, and then he was like, let's go play golf. And I was like, what? Like, why? Why? You're so boring. And then he was like, dude, you're in a casino marketing job and you're not playing golf. He was like, I feel bad for you because you're going to network way more better if you are like playing golf. Affluent people play golf.
Have you used your network from being involved with all these high-end casinos in Las Vegas?
I get to meet a lot of interesting people, and to tell you the truth, like I don't even see that as like to use for my own networking event thing. I just look at them like, oh, I'm friends with that, and then next thing I know, I realize like, oh, you know what? I can actually talk to my friend and actually help me out with my event. And now, like, I'm realizing like I have great people in my contact. And before I would just go to events, I would just go to events, mingle, have cocktails and just that. And now that I have my business, it's like, oh, who do I contact for this? Who do I contact to set up this gala, to set up, to meet up with this client? Who would be the best person to connect to who? And now I see the benefit of going to networking events.
Well, I think that as a member, not just of a board of an entrepreneurial venture, like being on the board of your own company, you're also on the board of governors of a charitable organization and raising money and organizing events like mansions in Lake Las Vegas and what have you.
It's
like
what
is that about? And how is that actualized?
Actually, it's not about just being part of like the cool group. It's actually giving back. So for me, I have a soft spot for single moms, and I myself, I'm a single mom, and I know the struggle. So I just want to give back. I know the feeling of not having anything. I know the feeling of not having anyone to help you. So for me, actually, it's my way of saying, here I am, I'm present, I can help out. It's not about the profit of whatever you make in an event. It's about helping out and letting people, raising awareness towards that charity. And it's not just Living Grace. I help out, 3 Square and St. Jude, and it's just giving back. Not a lot of people care.
Well, how are you getting involved with these organizations? Are you getting advice, opening their network to new people? What are you utilizing for like your skill sets, talents, and resources to help give back to these organizations? So
to give back with the organization that I'm helping out, I'm going to be doing a fashion show. We're going to be, the location is going to be in Lake Las Vegas, November 20th. I'm going to be showcasing my creations. I'm going to be releasing 2 more creations that still in the process right now. Hopefully it can be done. I'll be showcasing like at least 15 gowns, and we set up an event and we sell the tickets, and proceeds all go to the charity. That's how I help out.
A lot of my dating clients are always wondering, where do I meet the beautiful woman? They go to the fashion show.
I would say, yes, fashion show, also events, you can also, this is one trick that I told my little bro. I said, you want to meet all the cute girls, you go to Forever 21, Zara, or H&M. They're all shopping. So if you stay there long enough, I'm sure you will find a cute girl walking around, or, because if you go to a nightclub, you have this mentality like, oh, you just want to get laid. and not really quality people. I would really suggest like maybe joining a book club or like joining a race team or something, or yoga classes. You know, those are like, you meet like an actual, you know, like I would say more decent type of girls, you know? Like you don't just want to like find like girls that are, you know.
But we're from Las Vegas. You go out to the clubs, none of them are local. I mean, very few of them are local relative to tourists. So I'm thinking about all the events that you're going to, I would say that probably 90% of them are outside of the clubs. You're meeting them at private functions and events. And a lot of people are always wondering, how do they get access to these cool events?
Networking and actually who you know. You know, also you sign up to clubs and eventually you get invited to it. I remember I got invited because at this Neiman Marcus event, I got invited because I go there a lot. And they have like, even like, hey Marianne, I know the manager already, like, hey, we're having a soiree if you want to, you know, it's membership and also taking classes and stuff. And again, I would say number one key will be just smiling to other people. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you're just smiling and being nice, you get to know people and you never know, like it's another form of networking, right? Like the very basic.
I think that also being an organizer yourself, you also just suddenly like meet a lot of really interesting people. I mean, if you volunteer to get involved with organizing a fashion show for a charity, or finding out where these fashion shows are, or getting involved with volunteering for charitable organizations, or getting involved with the fashion industry, you meet the models, you meet the people who are designers, you meet the people that are really connected in that scene, as well as doing the same thing in almost any industry. And a lot of people are always wondering, how do I get into this particular industry, or how do I meet these particular people? And these are the kinds of things you just have to research on the internet, look for them, or contact people in your network and build them and get involved with it.
I highly believe in that. I'm totally with you, and that actually works so well as well too.
Well, nowadays, your daily routine, like day to day or week by week, how would you describe it?
A lot of meetings, networkings, brunch, and you just need to learn how to stay sober.
Just meetings all day long.
Yes, I actually know. At 6 p.m., I go home, I shut it off and unplug, and that's my time for my little one. You know, I keep that for my family. I make sure, you know, I do my mom duties and all that. But pretty much as soon as I drop her off to school, my phone will be ringing nonstop. Hey, are you available? Hey, can you meet up with this client? Hey, can you fit with this? Hey, it's nonstop. I feel like half of the day, half of my life actually, of the week, I live in my car. My car is my second home. Seriously.
You spend a lot of time also on social media and marketing.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you're doing to kind of build your brand on social media?
You need to target your demographic. That's what's number one. You need to know your demographic. You need to know your niche. You need to know who you want to talk to. And also, they will find you if you have great content and proper hashtags. As simple as that.
Now, as Mrs. Las Vegas, Miss Las Vegas, as Miss Las Vegas, what are the interesting behind-the-scenes duties and things that you get involved with?
A lot of charity work, and also just being a role model to everyone, and you know, that's pretty much it. And just being the positive person, you know. The only thing is, like, you can't really show your downtime. You always have to be like upbeat and positive and happy and cheerful. But I mean, I enjoy it. It's a great experience for me.
Now, what you've done in terms of like being a single mom, working all these jobs and building a business all at the same time requires quite a lot of work ethic and hustle and time management skills. What are you doing to kind of optimize your time and make all these things happen? Is it just massive resolve? Is it sleeping only 2 hours a night? Is it, you know, managing your time so you can have that balance and focus? Like, what are you doing?
Time management again, and then also, I feel like with repeating this every day, you just kind of get the whole of it. You're like, oh, okay, this is it. You know, you just do the best that you can and just not overthink it. Not just show up, dress up, get up, show up, and dress up mentality. You need to have that, and you have to be always prepared. Like if someone asks you, like, hey, we're going to this event. I'm good. Let's do this. You know, you just really need to be mentally prepared for the unknown.
I used to have that mentality also when I was getting invited to events and I was really trying to build my network.
Yeah.
Where I'd say yes to almost everything. But just knowing that I had a certain amount of time, I would kind of budget out time. So I would stay at a particular event for a few minutes, and then I would bounce, go to the next one, and do it again and again and again.
Oh gosh, at one point I have to really just unplug and just like, hey, I'm gonna take this one day to just stay and rest at home because I was like really exhausted from all the events. And I'm like, and then you actually also learn how to pick which one to go to. You know what I mean? You can't really go to each and every event that you're invited. You just need to balance it all out and look which event is way more sense to go to.
So, tell me some of the things that you want to say to our audience to kind of like sum up your career game plan for your clothing industry and your life goals as Mrs. Las Vegas.
You know what? My game plan here is to actually inspire more people, inspire more entrepreneurs. It's in you, you know, inspire more friends and family and other young entrepreneurs to actually step up, do what you really want in life, and don't be afraid. Because if you stay in that comfort zone, you are gonna spend your life miserable. And my game plan is to be an example, and hopefully I can get to be a speaker at one point. If right now I'm building my brand, my business, and it's such an amazing feeling. And I wanted to be an inspiring person for my friends and my family, and they see me like, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Awesome.
Yes.
If you enjoyed the video today, please subscribe to the channel. Write your comments below. If you had any interesting insights you want to share, please write them below. I'd love to hear about them. Cheers.